part of the Earglue Media family of podcasts.
You're listening to the Cantina Cast, your home for thought-provoking Star Wars talk. Join Albert and Jonesy in breaking down the latest news, trailers, movies, and of course, your favorite characters from a galaxy far, far away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cantina Cast. My name is Albert Padilla, and this is episode 301, The Sin. So we were kind of tossing back and forth a couple different ideas about what we were going to do this week, and we landed on covering The Mandalorian, because why not? I mean, heck, there was so much that happened, and felt like it was newsworthy. So we're going to definitely do that. We've got a whole lot of other news that we need to get into as well, but I'd like to welcome our newest member to the show. Please welcome Mike Rondo back to the show, I should say. Sorry about that. Mike,
this is National Lampoon's. This is my Groundhog Day. This really is. It's Groundhog Day. So I think I've died, and this is what's happened. I've come back, and I had to be a co-host, I guess. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I know Jonesy's coming back. I just know he's on sabbatical, and I believe his last known location was near
Disneyland.
Batu. Yeah, but Batu, I guess,
Batu, right? Yeah, sorry.
Batu, yes, exactly. But yeah, I got two things on my mind right now, Albert, before we get into all this stuff.
Okay.
Number one, I feel bad for Mando Monday, because Chapter 3, The Sin, when I did my little breakdown yesterday, I feel like I was a little off my game. So I apologize for being off on Chapter 3, The Sin, because it was such a good episode and I was so flat. So I apologize for that. The other thing, Albert, is should I drop a deposit on a Cybertruck? I don't know. I feel like I should do that. I don't know why.
That's not in our news. We're not talking about that.
Yeah, but everyone who knows me knows I love Jeeps and I like 4-wheel drive and all that other stuff, So I figured we'd throw it off at the beginning of the episode. I know Joe and I in Discord are going back and forth. It's an ugly vehicle. Don't get me wrong, but I like ugly vehicles. So I don't know.
Well, man, that is right up your alley, because I don't know that there's a vehicle uglier than that. Maybe the Gremlin?
Oh, the Gremlin's classic, man. Those lines, those classic bubble lines. Come on, now. But anyway,
a couple station wagons from the 70s too, probably right up there as well.
Well, I don't know. They had paneling. Those were pretty cool.
That's
the
pretty
paneling
nice,
on the side. So
Hey,
anyway.
but that's not why you're here.
No, that is definitely not why you're here. But please let us know if I should get a Tesla Cybertruck. Anyway, moving on.
So moving on, but this is going to be your opportunity to kind of make up for being flat on that show, because we are going to pull back the curtain and really get into a lot of detail here with Chapter 3.
The new boy band? Is that what we're going to talk about?
Let's start there. Let's start with the news. So we had the Rise of Skywalker TV spot that launched, and we had a lot of new, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but there were some significant pictures I thought that they just kind of snuck in here. And so the skeptic in me, or the cynic in me, wonders if, given all the hype and the attention that The Mandalorian's been getting, whether or not they felt like, let's just go ahead and throw some really juicy nuggets into this 20-second spot to get people talking and excited again about the Rise of Skywalker. So it's kind of cool. It almost feels to me like, and this is only in my head, I guess, it feels like there's maybe this internal competition between who can generate the most hype between the Mandalorian and the Rise of Skywalker. But nonetheless, you've already mentioned that you've already broken the seal here. We got our first look at the Knights of Ren. And I don't understand the pose. I mean, cinematically, this looks cool. We've got the camera moving from left to right.
This is early 2000s boy band music video look, pan shot around them
exactly.
As they're contemplating life and everything with the girl that broke up with the lead singer there. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. You wanted me to sing that, but I'm not.
Ain't nothing
it's an interesting look. Like that's probably our best look that we've ever got of them, like on film at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is just a bad shot by JJ, and I don't even know if this will be in the movie.
I was going to ask you. Do you think this shot's in the movie? Because if it is, like, unless they're like strategically position themselves to like be able to kind of see all around them, and there's a reason why, I don't see why they would just naturally be at the top of what looks to be some kind of a ledge or a cliff or whatever this is here. And just kind of looking around, right? I mean, they're all kind of looking down in different directions. They've got their weapons drawn. They look like, on guard. just weird. I don't know. It doesn't seem like this is maybe going to be in the movie and just maybe a promotional still or shot that they've done.
Yeah, I think it was maybe more or less like JJ was flying in the helicopter and they were up there, like they were testing something. Like, yeah, we'll just throw it in because a lot of the stuff that they throw in these spots, I feel like aren't even going to be in the movie. I've always said that they film stuff just specifically for the trailers and the TV spots and stuff. And I think you're kind of right with the whole hype thing. I think they're just capitalizing on the hype with the Mandalorian, and this helps them. It doesn't hurt. So I think they're kind of just going with it. I don't know, that one guy, the lead singer, I'm going to call him the lead singer with the cleaver there. You can almost make out his face in that shot. Like you can see his nose and maybe his mouth, so to speak. Like from
the guy right there, smack dab in the middle.
Yeah, cleaver guy. Yeah,
cleaver guy.
The lead singer of the Knights of Ren, which is technically supposed to be Kylo, but this guy I think just stepped up and took. I think with that cleaver, who's going to argue with him, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on their appearance? I mean, not so much the gimmicky, 2000 boy band music video shot. I mean, I think they look pretty cool.
I do too. I think they look great. And I'm looking forward to. We'll get our first look at them in the comic book, right? So we'll see that. I think it launches the week before the movie comes out, so we'll get our first look at there. But I'm actually pretty excited about seeing them in the movie. So yeah, they look fine. Apart from this shot. Yeah. We got a great look at finally the Sith Troopers. I think we've been questioning where the heck are they because they've been talking about them. It's like one of the very first things that we got when the Rise of Skywalker was announced, and we started getting some promotional pictures and stuff like that. And we really hadn't seen them since. And in Empire magazine, they've got this picture of them looks like they're marching in. I don't think you have it on here also, but there was another spot that came out this week that showed one of them firing a blaster. Did you catch that one as well?
I didn't see that one. The only closest action one I got is where Finn and Janina, I believe her name is, are fighting them on the Star Destroyer. It looks like with the picture below the one I got here. The shot with the Empire reminds me of the one where we first see Finn on the transport in The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
a little bit,
very similar.
Yeah, just
more
not
red.
Quite obvious. Yeah, obviously, yes. But here's the thing: I'm still confused with the Sith troopers and how they fit in. And they were in hiding with the Emperor, I guess. I don't know what's going on. And then we get the Knights of Ren. So who's with what? And I don't know. It seems like I don't know. I'm a little confused by all this. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I like them better than the white troopers. But I don't know. I'm a little confused by all this, but what do you think?
I think the name more than anything has got me the most intrigued. Like, why are they called Sith troopers, right? What makes them Sith, apart from the red? And I think Jonesy and I, early on when this was first announced, we talked about it, but I just question whether, I think there's got to be more there than, I would hope that there's more there than just the name Sith, and that somehow there's some kind of logical reasoning behind why they've been called it. Maybe it's the weapons they use, maybe it's the training that they've got. Right, I don't know what possibly it could be, but my hope is that there's something a little bit more there, tangible in that word Sith trooper, and not just a red trooper. Right.
I hope they show up in Resistance or something to give us something.
You know what I mean?
Because here's the thing with Resistance, with you got Pyra and all that, like the different colored Phasma. You thought she was special. Mm-hmm. So I'm confused on who's special and who's not in the forces, so to speak. I don't know. I mean, obviously, when we get the book there, the dictionary there for the Rise of Skywalker, it'll probably clue us in a lot more, which is something we always like to check out and break down anyway. So
yeah. The other interesting shot on here, or at least in that little promo that we've got, or little teaser TV spot that we had, is this. We got the dudes riding the. I don't know what it is. Crotch rocket, the motorcycle.
The sand rocket?
What do you call? I don't know what we're calling this thing.
Desert buggy. I mean, it's no Cybertruck. I'll say that. I mean,
maybe not, but it's fairly close.
You might be able to do this with the Cybertruck. I don't know.
So is this intentional? Here's the question I've got is, so if you haven't seen the trailer, the little TV spot, at one point this vehicle kind of lurches up from behind, almost at like a 45-degree angle. And one of the troopers on the back seems to either jump off or maybe he's kicked off. I don't know. But he ignites his little jetpack or jump pack, whatever they're going to call it in this movie, and flies over. And so we've seen this particular stormtrooper flying from one of the other trailers, or maybe it was the BTS footage or something. We've seen him flying around. But nonetheless, I guess two questions is, one, did you catch whether or not this was intentional that this happened, or was it
looked like it to me?
Yeah,
it looked
exactly
like it to me. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
is that how they have to launch this guy?
I think to get a certain height, maybe it's just like an advantage that, all right, we can do this move and it's just like a special move they do. But, they could launch stationary. This just gives them that boost, I guess you could say, and probably saves them a little bit of fuel. But I don't know. The whole thing is kind of goofy to me, to be honest. But, we'll see how it works and plays out in the movie. I just find it, I don't know. It's not so much the jet trooper there, right? That's what they call him, the jet trooper there.
Jump trooper, I think, is what they're.
Yeah, the jump trooper. It's the vehicle itself. I mean, now it has a purpose in a way, right? Because now we kind of have an understanding that, this is what they use it for. I don't know. It's just odd.
Doesn't it have like one really long wheel in the front, kind of like the Fred Flintstone vehicle?
Yeah, it looks like it's got a wheel and then there's nothing in the back. So it looks like the wheel.
I don't know
because again, we get the repulsors, right? So what is this really? I mean, again, you get the stand crawlers that crawl, so.
Yeah, not everything uses that stuff, right? I mean.
Yeah, and even the tanks in Rogue One had tracks as well, so,
Yeah, there's probably some benefit there. Who knows? But
I'm sure we'll get another TV spot next week, the week after, and, so on and so forth, and we'll piece together more stuff, but.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. I enjoyed the TV spots, and I'm sure, like you said, we're going to get more of these, and there'll probably be more reveals, if you will.
To be honest, you know what? At this point, it's the last one. Why not start showing some of that juicy stuff? Just in some way to entice us even more. I mean, I know people are interested in it, but I'm more. I think a lot of fans are more interested in the Mandalorian these days than the Rise of Skywalker. I mean, I'm still interested in it, but I mean, give us some more teases, I guess, that would make us say, oh, I definitely I gotta go. You know what I mean? So I don't know. At this point, it's the last one. It's the last of the Skywalker saga. We'll go for it at this point. Sell me on it, man.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's excited about The Mandalorian right now, and that's going to continue, I'm sure. But, it's just, the Rise of Skywalker, I guarantee you, a week before, we're going to be it's all we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Well, enough of that. Let's talk about Colin Trevorrow, because he had a moment here, I guess was it last week? Yeah, it was sometime last week.
Yeah. There was a lot of things were going on last week. Now, just to keep in mind, we didn't get all the news that's out there. We got some of the stuff that at least caught our eye or anything. But continue, right. Sir.
Well, yeah, and this is him going back and talking about, after leaving after he was parted ways with Disney, he mentions and I forget where this was at. I don't know if it was an article or something. I don't remember. Do you remember the source on this one where they interviewed him?
I want to say it's Entertainment Tonight, but I could be completely wrong. So this one I forgot to get the source for, but
that's
it's
fine.
not our source. I can tell you that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not our source, not sauce. It's not our source.
Sauce. I could go for sauce, but anyway, go ahead.
I'm just giving you a hard time on your accent, but
that's fine. I'm used to it by now. I mean, I've only done 700 shows these days, so I get all tongue tied. But continue.
Yeah. But so Colin Trevorrow came out, and he basically the key takeaway from the story is that originally in his storyline he did not have the Emperor as part of Episode 9, and I made the joke in Discord, I guess the other day, that maybe this is the reason why he was let go. Before we came on the air, I made the joke that he probably just said, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll put the Emperor in there." Got his big fat check, signed his name on it, and then said, "Oh sure, I'm gonna just kind of get that guy out of there because I really don't want him in there." But yeah, I mean, if there was intentions of having him in there and he did not want to, I can see where that would be a big point of contention, because that's kind of a big thing, right? Bringing back the Emperor or not bringing back the Emperor, I think kind of changes your overall narrative in the story. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, I do. It's interesting.
So do you believe him?
Yeah, I do believe him. I don't see any reason why he would lie about that. I don't think. I mean, the ones that I'm curious about is Kathleen and JJ saying he was part of the plan from the start. But I don't think Colin is really gonna. No, I believe him here.
Yeah.
It's funny that he didn't even consider him. I mean, I don't think anybody was really. That includes you, JJ, and Kathleen. I don't think you did include him until Snoke died, and then you're like, oh well, let's come up with a new guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's cool that the one thing that I'll take from him is what he says. He's grateful for JJ embracing some of our ideas. It's exciting that fans will get to see moments that felt essential to all of us. So I thought that was pretty nice, and I think that's pretty genuine as well. Because I think Colin had some pretty good ideas that we might never know about. I know they got the ship that's down in Galaxy's Edge. That was one of his ideas, so they used that. So, and like all things with Lucasfilm, they always recycle things. They don't get rid of an idea, which is a good policy to have. So,
and he's
go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I guess we're not really talking about the reason. We're not giving the context to why this interview is he's getting the writing credit, right, of some sort. And I don't remember if they're going to say it's his story or based on a story by him or whatever, but because he dedicated as much as he did, there's rules out there that say if you write over 50% or they use 40% of your storyline, you get some credit. So we will see his name in the credits for the Rise of Skywalker,
which is good. I think it's good to honor him. They did that with Lord and Miller as well. So I think that's a good thing. It saves face, I guess, at the end of the day. So, can't hurt.
Yeah. There was an interview with Rolling Stone that Kathleen Kennedy did. We posted that. I think we posted it on Discord. I don't think we posted anything on our social media pages. It was a pretty lengthy interview. There was a lot going on here. I don't think there was anything too shocking. I know there was a lot of controversy about one of the quotes that she said about not having any stories or comic books or anything, that they were kind of doing all of this. And it kind of I think it really got taken out of context.
We'll get to that.
Say what you will about her, right? Whether you like her or not, what she was trying to say, the point that she was trying to make was, unlike Lord of the Rings or unlike Game of Thrones, where they had these stories where they were taking and turning those into movies, they consciously made a decision at the very beginning to say, you know what, we're not going to do that. We are going to allow these directors and these writers to come up with their own material. And so the point that she was trying to make was they didn't have anything to go off. They were trusting these writers to come up with these unique stories without relying on anything that had come in the past. Somehow that got skewed. People took that out of context and said, they made it out like Kathleen Kennedy said there was nothing out there that they could have borrowed. And they had the little Will Smith thing where he's pointing at all the books of from EU and the comics.
Well, in defense of Kathleen, I don't blame her for not using all that other stuff.
And
in the old EU, because I know a lot of people like the old EU,
love the EU.
Yeah,
but I don't really. If you're being completely honest with yourself,
it wasn't all that, and then some.
There were some good stories in there. I'm not saying there were.
But here's the thing. And I think what she was, and I agree with what you're saying. It's out of context. And now I'm not. This is twice I've defended Kathleen in 2 weeks.
And you're not an apologist for her. I can tell the audience that right now.
I am not her biggest fan, but I think I agreed with her on firing Lord and Miller. I think she did the right thing there. And even here, I think it's again out of context, because I think like you were saying, is they're trying to start from anew. They're not trying to just take from what was before, because that would be too predictable. And they wanted to try something new and different. Now, you can argue, was that good or bad? Well, that depends on your point of view.
Exactly.
However, though, if you watch things and see things that are going on, they pull from the old EU many, many times. You got Thrawn, you got even Ben Solo. I mean, it was Ben Skywalker and the Solo. Exactly. So there's even Rey, you could say, is, based off of one of the characters in the old EU and stuff. So they take it. It's just not what you expect, I guess you could say. They do borrow from the legends, so to speak. I think she was just trying to make the point of like, well, we're trying to create something new, so it's like we don't have that source material yet. But they do, but that's not where they were going with. And I think if she could, she would take that back. It's one of those things where, like, you say something like I do every 5 minutes, and you wish you could take it all back, but you can't. So, it's a bit of a flub there. And unfortunately, because it's Kathleen Kennedy, she's a lightning rod among the fans, and this is what happens. Now, I'm not her biggest fan, and it's been known. So I have to defend her here. I think it was taken a little bit out of context, but hey, if you disagree with me, then so be it. I don't really care. But anyway,
so be it.
Moving on.
Jedi.
I'll say this about Rolling Stone. I got to give them credit, because this is a magazine that's, I normally, like, there's all softballs with all these magazines and stuff, and they actually hit some pretty, they gave her some good questions. So I got to hats off to them. That's what journalism used to be. Congratulations.
Well said. Dave Filoni, just recently also said, we still want to keep a lot of things a mystery. We don't want to go around answering things and making them less special. And he's directly referring to Baby Yoda, and we're going to call it Baby Yoda. We're not going to talk about whether that's right or wrong, but that's what we're calling it. And this was very.
Now, this was from Entertainment Tonight. They interviewed him and I think Jon Favreau. They were just talking, and then they mentioned it or whatever. And this is actually a relief to me because I'd said, I think 2 episodes ago, I was like, I don't want to know all the answers. I don't want to know all this. And I was concerned that we were going to do that because I'd mentioned it with Kenobi. I don't want to know everything about Kenobi. Just give me the juicy stuff, but don't give us all the stuff that was a mystery for the last 40 years, right? So,
right.
And this again proves why we trust Dave and we love Dave, and right here this proves that. And I'm glad he came out and said it. So.
Yeah, and I think, and there's nothing, there are people out there that, think about it. There's a whole nother generation of people, probably 2 generations now, that are okay with knowing what Yoda is. I think if you, and I don't want to classify everybody into these generations, but I think those of us that maybe grew up with the original trilogy are probably hold Yoda in George's view of not really ever wanting to give out any information on it, and the mystery and the mystique of that character, we probably hold that closer to our hearts than maybe somebody that's coming in with the sequel trilogy, right? What is it to them? Again, they've got different characters, different perspectives. Maybe they do want to know, and there's nothing wrong with that. For me, again, this is my own personal opinion. This is what I wanted. I still want there to be mystery. I like that what they've done so far. They really haven't given us a whole lot, and of course, we're only three chapters into the Mandalorian. But my guess is. And my hope was that we weren't going to get a whole lot of information. We may get a little nuggets here and there, tidbits about the character itself, but the race, I think it's more intriguing if they don't really reveal anything, right? I think it's playing right into the story of what's happening right now in the Mandalorian. So if they keep that going, I think it's just going to be even better.
Yeah. So I hope we don't get anything really other than what we've got with Baby Yoda. To be honest.
Yeah,
I don't want to know too much. I'm curious where they're going to drop him off. That's the big question. I did speculate on Mando Monday, but we'll get into that in a few minutes anyway. But
I think I would actually be okay with the name of the race. I know this may sound sacrilegious, but this is me. I would be okay with the name of the race, and I would probably be okay with they gave it a name, so we would stop calling it Baby Yoda.
All right, well, I'll give you. There's got to be a bit of a give and take. So maybe the name of the species, and we give this guy some kind of a nickname or something other than Baby Yoda. Although Baby Yoda is cool. I mean, come on.
Right.
I mean, I like calling him that. So I maybe give us the name of the species. Don't give a name of a Baby Yoda. Let's just call him that till episode 9 when he shows up and kicks everyone's butt. I don't know.
Because we refer to it as the Yoda species or the species of Yoda and Yaddle or whatever. We use that, right? So we're already using his name in there. So why not just finally pull the Band-Aid off and say, okay, we're going to call it this, and we're not going to know anything else about it. We don't know where they come from. We don't know their home planet. We don't know their history. They're just out there, and this is another one that they're trying to find for nefarious reasons.
I would have to say there's 2 things I'll take from this. 1, they're force sensitive. And 2, they're probably very rare. I'll leave it at that. That's that, and I want to keep it that way. Just keep it the mystery, and I think they will. So, and if Dave reveals anything about it, I think he'll do it in a way that's respectful and satisfying to all of us. I think so. I'm not too worried.
Yeah, no, he's got a good heart there, and certainly knows how to probably walk that line with making everybody happy. Yes. All right. Last bit of news before we get into the episode. We got the show descriptions for chapters 4, 5, and 6 of The Mandalorian. Chapter 4, The Mandalorian teams up with an ex-soldier to protect a village from raiders. Boy,
finally,
I wonder
Gina.
who that's going to be. Yeah.
Yes. My girl. I'm looking forward to it.
I know. I can't wait to see her character. I think she's going to be a badass, and I love it. The other, chapter 5, The Mandalorian helps a rookie bounty hunter who is in over his head.
That I don't know. That's an interesting one because I don't see anything that indicates, you know what I mean? Like Baby Yoda, really.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting one. Because yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just trying to think of like what bounty hunter, if they're going to introduce somebody new, that would probably be the best thing.
Yeah.
But if they were trying to use a character that we've already been introduced to, the 2 that come to mind, Dominic Pace is an actor that's been...
Oh, yeah, the Gecko. Stinkor of the Bounty Hunters. Yes.
He's been out on just about every podcast but this one. talking about his character and he was in this episode in chapter 3.
Well, Dom, if you're listening, you can come on the show. Just anyone's invited really at this point.
Yeah, right.
Like anything other than me. How about that?
Yeah,
that would work.
If we can get somebody else on here other than Mike, that would be a huge plus. So please call.
Oh my God, yes, it would be great. Everybody would have you. Be a win all around. But continue, sir.
No, so Dominic Pace's character, and he's probably got a name, and I apologize.
Gecko.
Gecko. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Gecko. I believe.
So maybe that character, although I don't know if that's going to really work because he was one of the ones that was kind of shooting the Mandalorian. So I don't know if that's
really going to bode well. See that.
But the Mandalorian, the bounty hunter that gets the riot act read to him by Grief right before the Mando comes in chapter 3 with all his full Beskar armor on. That guy, maybe it's that guy because they I guess they showcase him. I don't know for lack of a better term. Like it just felt like it was weird that they called him out like that, and then he went to the bar, and then I'm spoiling this because I want to talk about this later, but I'm talking about it now. He's sitting at the bar, and at one point he says "Ichuta," which is the same thing that one droid says in The Empire Strikes Back to C-3PO,
which is a swear. Which is
just a cursing or whatever. So, but
it sounds very much like "E to blank." We'll just leave it at that. That's how I always interpreted it. So,
yeah, maybe. I guess I never thought about it that way, but yeah, you're probably right.
Of course not. Of course, I'm the jerk. So yes, but anyway, continue, sir.
Well, so there's a bounty hunter a rookie bounty hunter. He's going to help. So, or maybe it's another Mandalorian. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody in the guild or sorry, the covert. Right? Who knows?
Oh, maybe.
And then chapter 6, the Mandalorian joins a crew of mercenaries on a dangerous mission.
That's interesting. Well, that's going to be from the teaser we had with the Twi'lek, and I think what's the comedian's name there? Now his name escapes my mind. Bill Burr. Yes. The guy with the guns, all the blasters and everything. Has to do with that, I think. So again,
we've seen that mercenary crew, I think, already.
Yes, I don't see anything about Baby Yodes going anywhere. Like so my speculation in Mando Monday, and I'll just say it now, just to get it out of the way, is he drops him off at that village. That's
Which one? The
village. In episode 4, where the protect the village from the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think he does it. That's if I had to guess, which is going to leave a lot of things of like, what are we doing? That type of thing. And of course, I think he gives him the little knob on the thing, and that's that. He doesn't have the knob on the ship. Yeah, he doesn't have the knob on the ship anymore, which I think would be pretty cool. But anyway.
Yeah, to be able to see that every week and know that knob is still missing.
Yeah,
exactly.
I like that idea. That would aggravate you. I know that because it's incomplete. You'd go nuts, wouldn't you?
It needs to be back, right? Why wouldn't he just buy another one and replace it? Give the kid that one.
Well, he can go see Quill there and get another one. I mean, he's a master mechanic out in the desert there. So
true. All right. Well, let's get into the sin. This is chapter 3. So yeah,
the sin of Mike Rondo is what we're calling this episode. No, I'm only kidding. It should be sins. But anyway, continue.
If you haven't seen the episode, turn the podcast off. Go watch it. But I mean, you've already gone this far.
You've already watched it. You've already listened to Mando Monday. So just
that's true. You probably already have listened to that.
Although you might have shut it off after 2 minutes, Mando Monday, and I wouldn't blame you this week. But anyway.
All right, let's talk about. So this picks up right where obviously chapter 2 ends, and we get this really cool moment where he's talking to Grief, and I do want to talk about this because it was one of the things, and I posted a lot today on social media, but one of the things that I posted on Twitter was we had this one line in here where he tells him it's not a toy, and we were talking about the little knob that came off that little lever, whatever it was, and I mentioned that we've already had 2 really great liners, I guess, or quotes in from the Mandalorian in I Have Spoken, and This Is the Way. But this is the one that resonated the most with me. It's not a toy, because I can't tell you how many times I have had to say that to a number of kids, not even my own kids, right? And it's just something that as a parent, or if you watch kids or take care of them, whatever, this is what you say a lot for whatever reason.
Well, my father said it to me every 5 minutes as a kid. So, I mean,
right.
I automatically thought of my father, not so much me, but I mean, I say it to my daughter almost every day anyway. So,
sure.
But I thought that was a funny moment.
Yeah, it's a great parenting moment. And I think this is where Favreau is really he didn't have to put that line in there. But if you're a dad and you're writing this thing, or you're a mom and you're writing this is just something that naturally happens. And so it just speaks to the dialogue and how casual and real, I guess, it can be even in Star Wars land. So anyways, enough of that. I thought it was a great line and I really enjoyed it. So, but he goes back and lands to go turn in Baby Yoda. And it was very interesting. There was a moment there where he's kind of walking, once they get off the Razor Crest and they're walking down.
That U-Wing catch your eye?
Yeah, well, the U-Wing and the quad jumper. I don't know if you caught that. There's one moment in there. There's a quad jumper that's all the way in the back.
I'd have to look again. But the U-Wing, they did that for a reason. Well, maybe they just did it for ambiance, but there's a reason why that was so like pronounced to me. I didn't talk about that on Mando Monday, but for some reason, maybe that's the bounty hunter that we're going to help out in a few episodes. Maybe that's his ship. I don't know. But anyway.
Well, no, and I think you're touching on what I am as well, in that shot was very interesting, that it went as long as it did.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Right. With Baby Yoda just kind of looking around. And so it got me thinking, okay, either they're trying to showcase or the U-Wing, or maybe it's the quad jumper it's really brief in there that you see it in the background, or maybe he's been here before, or there's something there that they're going to tie later on with Yoda, little Baby Yoda somehow. I don't know. It was just a weird shot.
That's possible because it seems like he might know Pershing, Dr. Pershing in the client. So there's that chance that he was there before and he was just taken from there. So
and he's looking around going, holy crap, I'm back.
Yeah. You can't get away.
Yeah. The question once he gets in there was, he mentions like how many fobs
did you give out? Yeah.
Did you give out? Yeah.
And this is a bit of confusion for me. Again, it goes back to IG-11. See, I said it right. I can do it. Where, he's talking to the client. The client's like, well, we want him alive, but I understand bounty hunting is complicated, and if it's dead, it's dead. All these other bounty hunters, unless they just going for the easy claim of the reward, right? Where they just kill Baby Yoda and bring him in and it's easy. I guess that's the way to do it. And maybe IG-11's logical was like, all right, killing it is better than taking care of it and risking all this other stuff, right? So,
but, no, this is, the thing about this is
the fob thing is my biggest hurdle in this season so far. And maybe we can get into it in a minute. And I'll let you do your thought now, sir. I don't mean to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, it's around the fact that, okay, so they gave out a bunch of these fobs, and originally, again, his orders, and we talked about this in the last episode, but I'm going to say it again. His original orders were you bring it in alive, but we're willing to bring it in dead if you need to as well. Dr. Pershing did not want that, right? He wanted it alive.
Correct, yeah.
But IG-11's orders, he says, were strictly to bring it in dead. So I don't buy that IG-11 had a fob that was given out by at least this guild, right? There has to be someone else, I think, other than the client, that had bounty hunters trying to go in after Baby Yoda.
I think I speculated either on this or Mando Monday that maybe it's the New Republic that wanted this creature dead.
Maybe.
That's a whole other interesting topic. The Republic doing some shady stuff. Yeah, you wouldn't think they would normally do. Yeah,
we were hashing that out in Discord. It could be somebody that we would consider being good because of the threat that this poses. Right? If you go down this
maybe
path,
it's Luke. Maybe it's
Luke.
If
you go down this path that this thing is could disrupt the balance in some way, right? Or give somebody an advantage in some way. I mean, I don't want to say that. Maybe the New Republic, there's some corrupt senator or somebody in the New Republic that wants this thing dead, and they've paid the money, and maybe not the New Republic itself, but maybe somebody within the New Republic that's got some their own nefarious reasons, which maybe they think are for the better, right? Or they think their intentions are good, when they're technically not. So
yeah, well, I mean that's the whole. See, there's little things like that. I mean, there are a lot of details in the show you have to pay attention to, and I think this is one of those things that. Yeah, they have a plan to explain this all at some point. They're just not doing it right now.
Yeah.
But again, the fob thing is my biggest thing. Like, how is this tracking somebody, and how do they not use this with Luke and even Yoda and Obi-Wan back in the day? Like, how does this work? Are they tracking the GPS on their cell phone? What's going on? That's my problem. But hopefully they'll explain it at some point and it makes sense to me, and I can say, okay, good. That satisfies me. I can move on.
Yeah, anyway. I think you're getting too Albert Padilla here because I don't think it really matters. But
maybe. I think the only reason I bring this up is because I feel like it cheapens what bounty hunters would typically do. Like they would, find out all the information, they would track you, they would do their thing, and they wouldn't have a fob to do it. I mean, we didn't see Boba Fett with a fob. We didn't see any of the others. We didn't see any of that during the Clone Wars or anything like that. So I'm not saying that George didn't have that idea and that Dave and him didn't discuss it before and that, when John came aboard, they kind of went with it or anything. But, I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I just need answers, darn it.
Well, maybe fobs. So maybe fobs only happen after. So maybe after they've captured somebody, they put them on bail. There's some DNA sample that they capture, right? And then that gets programmed into the fob and they have a way to track it. I don't know. Because yeah, you're right. There are probably other situations where they need to bring somebody in and they don't have a fob. I just don't think it's one of these things where everybody can get a fob for somebody else without any kind of having never touched them or gotten some DNA pattern or scanned them in some way. I just don't think that's possible, right?
Well, if it's a DNA thing, then why do we need the midichlorians to suck out of them? I don't know, because DNA is different from midichlorians, I guess. I don't know.
Don't cross the streams on that.
Sorry. Where's Dr. Pershing when we need him?
Right. All right, let's get back to the story. So yes. I got to say I was gutted as Baby Yoda was getting pulled away and he was kind of heading to the back there and he's kind of turns around and looks back at the Mandalorian. It just broke my heart.
See, this is why I'm a heartless bastard, because I was all like, good, he's coming here and he's getting paid and we're moving on to another story.
Yeah.
But I know better.
This is where we get the soft part of the Mandalorian, because he says, what are your plans for it? And I like that the client was immediately just like fired back. I mean, he almost looked disgusted, right, in his face.
Yeah.
That he said, how uncharacteristic of someone of your reputation to have even asked that, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was great, especially he said after he'd already gotten his commission and he already gotten his payment, that these things should be forgotten. And that speaks to the code of bounty hunters and what we would expect from typical bounty hunters. But, we're not getting that here. And I want to come back to that at the very end of the show, because I do have I want to pick your brain on where this show is going and how much, at least for me, it feels like it's really diverting from what I thought it was going to, which I think is pretty exciting. But we'll come back to that.
Well, I don't.
Just pause.
Yeah,
just wait. We'll come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The Camtono, the ice cream thing. Wilbur Hood.
Yes.
We finally got to see that in canon, I guess, or it was already in canon.
Yeah, see, he wasn't running with ice cream. He had his whole Beskar with him running around. I don't blame the guy. So
maybe there was Beskar.
Maybe it was the same Beskar.
I think it was used. I think it's supposed to be like a safe, right? A personal safe. Yeah. I don't know if it was strictly created to hold Beskar, but the name where that came from?
What name?
The Camtono?
No, not offhand. No.
So
you'll have to please inform me
this.
Of the obscure pop culture.
Here
reference.
We go. You go back out to YouTube and go to 2017 and do a search for little girl trying to say ice cream. There was a viral video.
Lead to a whole lot of things you don't want. Sir.
There was a video that went viral about 2 years ago, and it's really this young little girl. I don't know. She's maybe 2 years old, 1 year old, and the dad keeps trying to ask her to say ice cream, and he poses it several different ways, and she says every single word up until that exactly the way she's supposed to say it, but instead of saying ice cream, she would always say Camtono. And I don't know if this has been confirmed, but I refuse to believe that that's not where Jon Favreau got the name for this device and where he got a call from. So go watch the video yourselves. You come back and let us know if you think, if you're as crazy as I am. So
you're crazy. Moving on.
I really am. All right, moving on. Meeting with the armorer, which I thought was pretty. I mean, this was one of my favorite scenes. So far, every scene that he goes back there with her on seems pretty cool.
We get the layers of what makes him. Although I have a few theories that I threw out there on Mando Monday with the flashbacks and what's going on there. But it was very cool to see the dynamics of the clan, right? Like in how that is, because apparently this is a mishmash of clans, because you got Paz Vizsla, which is Clan Vizsla, obviously. Mm-hmm. You got the Mandalorian, who we don't know too much yet. And then you got the armorer who's got the Darth Maul helmet looking thing. And I'm sure one of them was Clan Ren was probably there and we didn't really see. So I don't know what's going on there, but I love every time we go down there and we see the way things are going. And I mentioned in the Mando Monday where she's counting the Beskar and looking at it, and these two are squabbling, and she doesn't even bat an eye. And then she's like, "All right, listen, this is the way."
Yeah.
And then they're all like, "Hey, all right, cool." And the vibroblades again made their thing again, so it's awesome to see that. But yeah,
I think that confirmed it too. Yeah. We had the question about in the last one when you cited the Mudhorn guy, whether or not that was a vibroblade, and I think that was confirmed obviously in this episode,
which is why he died. So
right,
yeah,
as easy as he did.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the other key takeaways were, I mean, they mentioned that Beskar. I'm almost 100% confident at this point that the purge that they refer to was truly the Empire coming in and wiping, decimating Mandalore, decimating the Mandalorians to the point that you just made, that they've really, all that's left of them is this kind of Frankenstein group of clans that are living under the ground. I mean, he even says that they're living like rats is the word that he uses, which I think is crazy because when we and I said this last episode, sorry, I'm repeating myself, but when we see the Mandalorians in Rebels, they're not.
That's what I mean. This purge had to be soon after that, right?
Yes.
I was
I would
speculating
agree.
Mando Monday, I was speculating. I'm like, when did this? It's not the Siege of Mandalore, which I was thinking at the beginning. That has to do, and I don't even know if that really is the Mandalorian, his character, or Din on Mandalore. I don't know if that's the case there. So, but in case, we'll get to that at some point.
Yeah, but I think it happens shortly or right after that, or right after Rebels ends. Something happens to the Mandalorians; they get completely wiped out. So
I definitely believe that.
Yeah,
but the interesting thing is Sabine doesn't mention it in her little wrap up there,
right? At the end of Rebels, yeah.
But it was more a concern with the family group and the rebellion, right? So,
yeah.
In any case.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's a good point. Maybe they'll true that up. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
You mentioned Paz Vizsla, which I thought was cool. That was played by, or at least voiced by Favreau, which, I mean, as soon as he starts speaking, there's no denying
which is
him.
great, if you're going to bring a Vizsla into it, you might as well have him do it, right?
Bring back the original.
Exactly. And, he probably couldn't help himself. He's like, well, I'm going to voice this.
Right. No one else can play this with me. So
exactly. I'm a Vizsla, man. I'm going to do it. So,
and then the Black Series figure came out this week, coincidentally. Yeah. Wow. They planned that one.
Wink, wink. Yeah. Oh, that was interesting. I like that whole dynamic. Like, this is the way, obviously must have happened after the purge, right? Like, it's interesting how the Mandalorians and the Jedi were wiped out by the Empire. Like, they took out their biggest competitors, or not competitors, but threats, if you will, with the Mandalorians, because they can stand up to Jedi and Sith as well, and the Jedi. So that I thought that was really cool that they were both in a similar situation, and maybe they'll rise, which makes even Sabine and Ezra and Kanan working together all that more important in my mind, because they were all wiped out and they're now working together. But anyway, continue.
No, the one of the other lines that stood out for me here, one of the other quotes is, she says, "Our secrecy is our survival is our strength." And I guess it didn't dawn on me that they were, not only are they living as rats underground and all that, but they're living in secrecy. And later on, I think one of them says, "We can only come out one at a time." So like only one Mandalorian, and I'm taking that in a literal sense until somebody in the show proves otherwise or says otherwise, but it sounds to me, taken at face value, that they don't all go out at one time, right? They send maybe one person out, they go run errands, and they come back. So to kind of hide their numbers, because I mean, you've seen one Mandalorian, you've probably seen them all, right? But it sounds like they are really all living underground and they don't get out much. So that, the secrecy I think is interesting, and we can talk about this now, I guess. At the very end of this is kind of a game-changing episode, not only for the Mandalorian, but for Mandalorians in general, because they're out, right? Everybody knows now that there's a lot of them, and they just wiped out almost an entire guild of bounty hunters. So, they are being hunted. And I think it's the armorer. She makes a quote in there also about, when they call him a coward, when they called the Mandalorian a coward or a traitor or whatever, because he's been sitting there, making deals with the Empire, that how can he be considered that when to be a Mandalorian means that you are both the hunter and the hunted, right? So the point of that is, their secret's up, and they're going to have to move the convert somewhere. And it just makes you wonder now, okay, so now they're going to be hunted by the guild, or maybe guilds in general. Maybe there's some, they've broken some law or underlining law that says that if, one guild's broken, or one guild's crossed, then all the other guilds kind of rally behind it or whatever. I don't know what that's going to play like. But then you've got the Empire too, or what's left of them. And then there's really not much of the Empire left, but you may have splinter groups, or the outlaws,
the warlords,
exactly, that have decided that they want to wipe out whatever remnants of the Mandalorians are out there, because they don't want them to rise up or rebuild their ranks in some way. So anyways, I just think it was a really game-changing episode, especially with what we saw at the very end, with them all kind of coming out and decimating the poor little guild there. We talked about him being a coward. And then we got there were some foreshadowing moments. There was two, I guess, in this episode. And this is, I think, where we got the first one, where the armorer asks, have you ever removed your helmet? He says no. So
he hesitates, though.
He does hesitate.
He does.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. He does hesitate. So maybe he's not being truthful there. But, and I don't know that we ever got this, because the Mandalorians from Clone Wars, they took their helmets off.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we saw them all the time.
This is after the fact. This is after the purge, so you can't tell who they are.
Yeah,
so like when they go out one at a time, you don't know. So
except the big guy, we kind of know. You see him, you're like, oh, there's the bigger one.
Maybe that's why he's upset, because he's like, I got this big armor. They could tell me,
Yeah, I'm a little thicker, man. I can't hide this. Maybe they don't send him out. Anyways,
yeah.
No, but so the foreshadowing here is that, and she then asks him, has anybody ever removed your helmet? And he says no. So I wonder if that's going to be something, because I think that's going to be a really cool moment. Yeah, it's the villain, whoever the baddie is at some point here. I think.
Or Baby Yoda does it.
It's not Baby Yoda.
Oh, come on, it's Baby Yoda. He's going to take the helmet off. He's going to want to play with it. So he's going to feel bad. You're going to give him the helmet. No, I'm only kidding.
No, I think that'd be a special moment, though. Like, he only takes it off for Baby Yoda. Oh, you're right, Mike. I like that.
No, forget it. I don't like cute Star Wars. No, it's going to be the woman in the village from the promo there. Helmet sex. We got hand sex, helmet sex. It's all over the place. Yeah.
All right. Anyway. I don't know where that's going.
Well, let's talk about the flashback for a minute. And I don't mean to throw you off game here, but do you think that's on Mandalore? Do you think that's the Siege of Mandalore? Because I don't think it is.
Do I think it's the Siege of Mandalore?
Yeah. Do you think that's where you were seeing this?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Because
well, he's not to me. I don't think he's a Mandalorian at all.
Well, he was a foundling, which obviously is why he's with Yoda there and all that stuff. So, but yeah, I don't think that's Mandalore. And tell me if I'm wrong. Like that setup shot where the battle droid opens, the super battle droid opens the thing. You tell me there's not a lightsaber that's going to come flinging through that thing. You have to. No, there is. It's going to be either that or it's a Mandalorian. But I'm telling you, it's going to be Ahsoka. It has to be. It's got to be. If it's Mandalore, if they're on Mandalore, then that would make sense. It would be that. But I personally would love to see it being maybe Kenobi and Anakin together. That would be pretty cool. One more time on the screen like that. But then again, it could be Yoda himself, which is even more into the psychology of the character and why he feels sympathy for Yoda. I don't know. Baby Yoda, I should say. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think I'm crazy? Okay, that's good.
You told me to tell you, and I think you're wrong. So right. I don't. Well,
why do you think? Why do you think I'm wrong?
I don't see them.
It's Filoni. He's gonna. That's that episode 5. That's when it's gonna get resolved. I'm telling you.
I don't know, man. I just can't see them. I mean, maybe Ahsoka. If they do, I would really be skeptical that they show you. Maybe you see 2 lightsabers, one green, one blue, and that's all you see. And it alludes to that it's her that rescues her.
Well, she gets the blue lightsaber in the Clone Wars season 7 there. Remember, because it's on the fly.
Sure.
So if you
regardless,
see 2,
I don't think. I just don't know that they would put her in there. They may insinuate that it was her, or they may allude to the fact that maybe it was her or a Jedi. I think that would be cool. I don't think they go any farther than that, though.
My theory is you see the lightsabers and then you see her hand reaching out to him. That's how you could do that. So it's like, all right, it's Ahsoka, but we don't see Ahsoka. So later on, if they want to do something, they can cast whoever they want to cast. That's my theory. Although I would love to see Kenobi, considering we're going to have a Kenobi series, and that would be it. I personally would like to see Hayden and Ewan doing their thing. But, this is just me, geeking out and wanting things.
So I get it. And that would be really cool. I think you get Ahsoka at most. And I think you only get Ahsoka if it's on Mandalore, because you got to think about it. If he's on Mandalore, and she rescues him, what is she going to do with this child? She's probably going to give it to people around her and that sort of thing. But if it's not on Mandalore, why would she take the baby and take that child and put him under the care of a group of people that had just been decimated?
I think she would give it to Bo-Katan, and she would do what she does. Because I don't know.
Why wouldn't she give it to the New Republic or not the New Republic, but give it to the Republic?
Because you got to understand that she's on the run too. She had to fake her death with Rex. So, when all that happens, that's what happens. So maybe she gives him to Bo, and that's why he becomes a Mandalorian. I'm just throwing wild things out there, man. Maybe something will stick. I don't know.
No, that's cool. I get it.
No, I mean, well, if it happens, I'm going to be on the next episode to remind you. That
I know you will. That's fair. You can lay me out on
because I was going to bet money on this earlier in the week, and I'm almost positive we're going to see lightsabers flying through that chest. Is
it like that one time that you were going to get a tattoo on your chest?
No. I was going to dye my hair pink if someone was cast or something like that. Yeah. It was ages ago.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right, well, we'll find out. Nonetheless, I think we can both agree there's more to that scene. Obviously, it's going to play out, and I think we're going to probably get. No, I would go on record as saying we are going to find out who rescues them, at least in some way, and how he eventually gets into the Mandalorians, whether he's a part of the Mandalorians already or he's not or whatever. I think we're going to get that. Let's talk about the Mudhorn signet, because we were joking about this in Discord.
Yeah,
because she asked him, she says, hey, did you get your signet? And he's like, yeah, I fought a Mudhorn. And she's like, oh, okay. He's like, whoa, wait, no, I,
no, it's okay.
Want
a cooler one.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really kill it myself. And
like a Zillow beast would be pretty cool. Like right. I would go with that. Something,
instead of a Mudhorn.
That Mudhorn thing. It's not gonna impress anyone. So no.
Yeah, can't we just wait till I kill a mythosaur or?
Yeah, I mean they're extinct, but we can pretend.
Sure.
Or a crate dragon. We could do that. That would be cool. I could go with that.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we see that in the Kenobi series. To be honest.
Stay on target.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, here's the thing. I'm confused with the signet, because when he walks down there the first episode in chapter 1, she's like, "Did your signet get revealed?" And he's like, "No." But yet here she's saying, "Do you want the signet?" And it's like, okay, what are we doing here? So I was a little confused by that. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think the way I interpreted that was her asking, has your signet been revealed? I think is her way of asking, have you done something or fought something in battle that's been significant? And if so, what is it? Because I think maybe there's just some tradition that becomes your signet. You know what I'm saying?
All right, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
But that clarifies it for me. Okay, thank you.
Just go with that.
We're gonna.
Whistling birds.
Awesome. I need some.
Those were cool. Like,
I need the rifle, to be honest.
Well, we'll get to the rifle in just a second, because that is really cool. But yeah, he mentions that since they weren't going to do a signet, they had excess Beskar left over, right? So she ends up using that to create these whistling birds. And I remember when the first time I saw this episode and she said whistling birds, I was like, that doesn't sound very threatening.
Well, they whistle.
They whistle, right?
Yeah. So it makes sense.
It's just interesting. I do like it. It's very Japanese, right?
I want to say, I don't know if it was in Rebels that they used those.
No.
I don't know why. For some reason, my daughter's watching Rebels. I should ask her the whistling birds. Like, I feel like one of them did that with their wrist rockets. I don't know. I could be wrong, but sorry.
I don't know. I didn't didn't remember hearing it before, but
I want to say Bo
wrong.
did it, but I don't know. Anyway,
I have to go look that up. I did not. Yes. I did not remember that. But anyways, so whistling birds, I thought was a cool weapon that he got, and then obviously he makes a comment again about the excess beyond that is going to go back to the foundlings because they're the future, and then they all together say this is the way.
This is the way.
We talked about the flashback, and let's jump. Next part of it is when him coming into the bar, and Grief does nothing for him. I don't know if he's called Grief because that's what he does, but him walking into the bar, I mean, he's almost like bragging to everybody else about how much they suck and how awesome the Mandalorian is, and it's like you can tell the Mandalorian's like, quiet, man. I'm already standing.
I'm already
out.
the knight in shining armor now.
Exactly,
Stop it.
walking into this dirty, dusty bar.
Do I get credit for that though? With my whole theory of he goes from the tattered, grubby looking thing to the white knight in shining armor.
Yes, judges. Yes,
thank you.
Yes, we will give you credit for that.
All right, okay, because I think I'm right. But anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, no, he didn't really do him any justice by calling him out like that. And it's also there in that moment too that he's trying to get off world. He's trying to go as far away as he can. She already the armor had mentioned that he was going to draw a lot of attention with this armor on there. He's on top of that. He's turned in this bounty that all the other bounty hunters were going after. And so they're, all eyes are on him. And he's thinking, I need to get away from here as far away as possible. And he asks Grief for the farthest bounty or the farthest puck. And he picks up that
Akbar's
puck.
son. Yeah.
Well, see, no. And I don't think it's Akbar. And don't get me wrong.
It's Akbar's son. I'm telling you. No,
so it's
I just like aggravating.
No, it's not that. It's just, I get it because we do this all day with Star Wars, right? Every time we see something, we always want to do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I actually just watched a PBS show or something about how the human brain wants to always try. It's in our natural DNA to want to tie things together, right? We always want to put things together, even though there may not be a logical reason, and that's why optical illusions work and all that. Anyways, the point of that is when the puck goes down. And you get the Aurebesh writing that's up at the top. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to get out a pen. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to get the name. I'm going to do a lot of research. You know what that thing says?
Wanted. You can't read Aurebesh? Come on now, you rookie.
Man. Yeah, I was really disappointed.
Yeah.
Maybe
you shouldn't be. Maybe I shouldn't have you host the show if you can't do Aurebesh.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I actually have an app on my phone that does it for me. But
oh, wow. Look at that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That lazy.
I am that lazy. Well, it actually gives me the...
I've been doing this since I was 6 years old, man.
Yeah. Some of us have been in this fight since we were 6 years old. No, it's the app actually lets you type in Aurebesh to you. Like it'll translate it and you can copy and paste and all that. Anyways.
I gotcha.
And he mentions that he's going to go... This is on the oceans of Karnak, which that doesn't sound familiar to me.
The Dune Oceans, I think he says, or something like that, which made me think, what are Dune Oceans? Like, what, or the Oceans Dune, or whatever? I don't know. But anyway, he said something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He says it's a nobleman who skipped bail. No. I don't think it's Akbar. But
no, it's not. I'm kidding. I'm just doing it to annoy you.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Mission accomplished. So then he decides to go back. He gets in a ship, and then he has that moment of, I can't go through with this. Powers everything back down.
Disappointing
Heads back
me.
over to go look for him. No, he's not. Goes back and looks for Baby Yoda. And there was an Easter egg in here that I wanted to call out. And I don't know if you mentioned this on your show, but there at one point when he's kind of making his way back to the Imperial, or what's left of that Imperial garrison, he comes around the corner. And if you look right, standing upright as he comes around the corner is that piece of metal that Leia uses to when they're in the trash compactor. And she's like, get on top of it. And they grab that one long piece of metal and they're trying to keep it they put it in between the compactor doors or whatever. That's it standing right there in the background. So you're welcome if you didn't catch that.
I did.
I thought it was cool. And then he sees the little what is it? Stroller.
Empty egg.
Yeah, the empty egg all crushed. And he gets very Sabine by blowing a hole in the door to go, hold on. Let's talk about the rifle.
Yeah. Please.
Because this thing is awesome. I mean, it does everything. It disintegrates. It shocks. He uses it like a melee weapon. Right. It goes into predator mode where he gets heat signatures. He's got Bluetooth enabled where you can hear it coming through his helmet.
I got to get that thing.
I mean, this is awesome.
Get one. I mean, this is the greatest weapon since the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, the disintegrations alone are worth it.
Very satisfying.
Grief kind of like, oh boy, we got into something we shouldn't be. But yeah, that rifle is all at the Predator moment. Like, I had a smile on my face. It took me right back to 1986 when that came out, and that whole scene was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
And
I don't know if that
Predator.
was intentional, but
he is the Predator at this point, right?
He's the hunter
them.
who becomes the hunted. We get a line in there though too, where it says, he says, "I order you to extract the necessary material and be done with it." This is the client telling that to Dr. Pershing. And then Pershing retorts back, "He has explicitly ordered us to bring it back alive." So that's questionable too. One, I think this bodes well for my theory that I thought from the very first episode that this is what they were going after. As soon as I saw that it was force sensitive, I think maybe that is why they want the midichlorians. I don't know. It could be a couple things. I think it has to do. I would like to see it have to do something with the Emperor, whether they're using that to keep the Emperor alive, or they're using that to, I don't know, construct some kind of new body or something with
kind of like they extracted the midichlorians from Luke's hand in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah,
right. Maybe the Sith troopers. Maybe the Sith troopers are getting pumped with midichlorians, and I don't know. This is all tinfoil hat stuff again.
Well, who is he though? Is it the Imperial?
No, I had that same question when he says he has explicitly ordered us to bring it back alive. I don't think these guys would be ones that would talk directly to somebody like the Emperor, right?
No, so it's going to be the Imperial guy that we see. What's that guy's name there? What's his name? The guy in the TIE pilot thing, the TIE fighter there, where he's hanging on with the thing and in the promo thing. Oh, what's his name? I can't think of his name. Even the actor's name, I can't think of his name. Is it Oscar something? I want to say.
Ooh,
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, the guy, the TIE pilot, the other Imperial. You remember the Imperial that was with the guys with the flamethrowers or whatever that was outside that building in the trailers and stuff? Yeah. Is it him who's probably answering to the higher power of the Empire? I don't know. That's my theory.
And that's probably it. I just don't think it's. They said he, and the first thing I thought was, it's the Emperor. But then I was like, no. Why would the Emperor talk to these guys? They're too low on the totem pole.
Yeah, maybe Pershing does because he's the doctor.
True,
maybe because he's got the cloner symbol on him. So maybe.
But the client then also says, "Finish your business quickly, as I no longer can guarantee your safety." Right.
That's true. Yeah,
it sounds like there's a lot more going on here.
And he conveniently disappears.
Yeah, he does.
I mean the client.
The client. And so then we get to the point where I said it's very Sabine of him to kind of blow a hole in the wall there. And I thought this whole next scene here, all of it, when him taking out the stormtroopers was really cool.
Yeah, he played Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon one too many times. That's what happened there.
Said it was kind of like a Dark Knight, right? Very Batman of him to be able to kind of run around the shadows like that. And
went a little Sam Fisher right there. That was awesome.
Yep.
And then barbecuing a trooper there. I wasn't expecting that. So, those critics that was saying this isn't going to be dark enough. Well, you just got a guy burned alive. So, just saying.
Yeah, I thought they did that great. I think they did a great job with that. Even like I like the way and we didn't talk about her, Deborah Chow. I thought she did a freaking amazing job on this show. And so, and I apologize. I had that very first thing in my notes and we skipped over it, but I thought she did awesome, especially with this scene in particular, because it was very action oriented. I liked the way she used lighting. The shadows were cool.
Pacing was good.
There was moments in there, like there's one where he takes out one stormtrooper and she's got the camera kind of at ground level, and you can hear it happening, but you don't see it, right? And the next thing you know, you see that stormtrooper drop, and he walks off, and then very nonchalantly just turns, as he's walking away, pulls his blaster and just fires one right into the belly of that thing after it dropped. So
that's what you should do.
And exactly.
So
and I mean, that's just like, it was very different, because if you had any thoughts that maybe this was going to be a goody two shoe show.
Well, then he knifes the trooper there
with the burning of the trooper, kind of he dispelled that.
He stabs a trooper too. He pulls him with the grappling and then stabs him in the back. So,
yeah, the scorpion move from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, exactly. So, it seemed pretty dark to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Not to mention the disintegrations. I mean, we can get into that too. I mean, geez, that whole ending was like, whoa. I wasn't really expecting that, especially after them, button heads and everything in their whole thing. I was like, yeah, they're not good, and then all of a sudden that happens. I'm like, oh, that was awesome. That was like taking me back to the Clone Wars with the Mandalorians and everything. That was awesome. And even Rebels. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I would agree. We got the interrogated droid. That was obviously a huge, I wouldn't even call it an Easter egg because we all know what that is. But the one question I have here is because, he says, please don't hurt him. It's just a child. He turns away. Next thing you know, he's gone. Very Batman again, right? Didn't even see him leave or all that. But I think the question is, do you think they got an extraction, or do you think he was ready to be extracted and it never occurred?
I think it was about to happen.
Okay. No, that's fair. I mean, I think that's why the interrogator droid was there. It took a long time to do that extraction, though. So
yeah. Well, they had to knock him out or something. I don't know what that thing is that was above his chest there. That was kind of, I don't know what that was, but it was interesting.
Yeah. To me, it looked like it was something just to hold him down and monitor his, vitals to make sure that he was alive while they were doing it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But then we get this whole, when he, and then we kind of jumped around a little bit, but once he picks him up, and then he starts walking around, we get this, and this is another thing that I was really all gushing over on social media today, and that was this trope of Baby and the Badass. And we talked about doing this, and you and I were talking about this, was it last week? When we were trying to come up with a show idea. I said, hey, why don't we do the show idea where we talk about this Baby and the Badass trope and provide some examples of that. And we decided not to go that route because it was going to take too long, and we had to do some research and watch a couple different things here and there. But nonetheless, I just want to point out that one, we were going to do this, and two, that trope actually, if you go look at it, that trope actually specifically says at some point the badass picks the baby up in his or her arm, and is fending off the bad guys at the same time that he's holding the baby, right? So in one hand he's got the baby, and the other hand he's shooting, usually, or he or she's shooting the bad guys. And man, sure enough, we got that in this moment where he's got the baby cradled in one arm, and he's just going on a tirade, killing these stormtroopers left and right. So I had posted there was Hard Boiled was one from 1992. Torchwood was another one, and then obviously the Mandalorian.
All movies no one has ever watched but Albert.
No, that's not true.
Yeah,
we got plenty of people that are liking this on social media. So
they're just being nice.
No, maybe they
I'm only
are.
kidding. Maybe, who knows?
But it was exciting to see it. I got really excited and super giddy when I saw that happening, because I was like, I knew this was going to happen. But anyways, Whistling Birds, we got to see them. We've already talked about them. And let's just jump to the very end, because I know we're getting long here. But we get to Mando finally getting out there. All the bounty hunters are kind of descending on him. They've kind of pretty much got him cornered or surrounded, I should say. And we get we get Grief saying, "Because I'm your only hope," which I thought was funny because it just reminded me of Obi-Wan Kenobi thinking, or I guess he was the only hope at that point, and it turned out to be Luke Skywalker. It was just weird that they were funny, I guess, or coincidental that he used hope to kind of describe himself, given what happened in episode 4 there. But that last battle where I was completely taken off guard. I was not expecting, and maybe I was just too engrossed in what was going on.
Well, I thought we were going to get the lone gunfighter trope type thing,
where he's just taking out everybody on his own.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that's where we were going.
Yep.
And I figured, actually, what I was thinking when he was looking at Baby Yoda, I was like, all right, so this is where the U-wing person kind of comes in. Like that, maybe that was the payoff there, and that didn't happen, obviously, because then we got the 4th of July happened, which was awesome. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting kind of something different, which is why I love this show, is because yes, it's kind of predictable, you kind of know where you're going, but then there's like a left turn and then a great surprise, and you feel great about everything. But anyway,
I thought it was great. I in my notes it says that it was like watching an episode of the Clone Wars, but in live action. I mean, It was very similar, but I just live action stuff. And the one of the lines in there, we've talked about this, but where he says we're going to have to relocate the covert at that point, and then he just responds back, "This is the way." So these guys made a decision to come out of hiding and protect the Mandalorian. And I just thought this was interesting, given it kind of speaks to the state of the Mandalorians, because if you think about where they were in the Clone Wars and to some extent in Rebels, they weren't always, I got your back, you got my back, right?
No.
The Empire,
they were very clan-oriented.
Exactly. They were always fighting and killing each other, and then the Empire came in, and that just complicated things because some of them were siding with the Empire, others were not. So you almost had like 3 factions or 3 primary factions that were going against one another. And here you have one Mandalorian who has gone rogue against his business or his profession as a bounty hunter, and yet that was enough that the Mandalorians recognized that it is a kind of one for all for one type situation with them now, given how few of them there are, and they make a decision to side with this one Mandalorian who's gone rogue, who they know that's got to be super risky, and yet they do it. There's a nobility here, I guess, more than anything about the Mandalorians that I don't think we've ever really seen before. Maybe within their homes, their own houses, right? We've seen that. But as a group, holistically, we'd have never seen that before.
Well, I'd mentioned the honor thing in the Mando Monday. I said he's an honorable person. Like he wouldn't take credit for the kill of the Mudhorn. He couldn't let the kid go off and get killed that way. It wasn't honorable. So his honor overcame his dishonor, I guess you could say. Like he just said, no, this isn't right. So this bounty isn't worth it if I let the kid die who's an innocent, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it's not good. Like this armor isn't worth it if the child dies, because it's a child. It's not like it was me and he was collecting the bounty on me and getting the Beskar. It was a child that had nothing. Granted, it was a 50-year-old baby, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's honor among them as well, especially now. I mean, there always was an honorable way for them to fight and to honor, that whole thing, with like Death Watch and how they went about things and stuff. But now it's more personal on their level because they're a mishmash of clans now. So there's they're becoming one big clan now. So there's honor among them. I think I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I all that to say, I like that this is kind of a new chapter for the Mandalorians, and it's almost like he's leading by example. I think, like to your point, I think his good deeds are kind of molding where the Mandalorians are going at this point, right? He's leading by example, and I think he's kind of changing. And I may be seeing way too much into this, but it just feels like he's shaping them and leading them. Even though he's really, again, I think it's going to be awesome if he really is truly not a Mandalorian, and it goes back to that whole thing about even with like Raid, where it doesn't matter where you came from; it's a matter about where you are or where you're going. That anybody can be anyone, depending on what you want to do and if you're good of heart and all that. So I think that's the underlying story here. But the last thing I have for you before we go here is and I mentioned this earlier, or teased it earlier, but this show, I think we were coming in thinking, okay, we're going to get a gunslinger movie. He's a bounty hunter. It's going to be a bounty of the week kind of thing, right? I mean, I'm not saying these were all prescribed for us, but these are just things that we heard. And here we are in chapter 3. And I don't know that you can make an argument that he's actually a bounty hunter anymore. He may be. He's probably not a bounty hunter for that guild, right?
Oh, he's a mercenary.
He's a mercenary
basically.
Now.
Yeah.
But maybe. I don't know. It's like, who's he working for now at this point? How is he going to find work?
Well, I think, here's the thing. I had mentioned this on the show, that Greef is going to forgive him because he shot him where his Beskar was. Like the Mando knew where he hit it, so he shot him there. So all he was doing was just getting away. He didn't want to kill Greef. So I think, and of course they do meet up again because he lands his ship we've seen in the promo, and all the others are right there with him. So I think he'll be back. Maybe. We'll see. I'll see how that plays out. Maybe he's going to kill Greef. I don't know. But he's obviously still going to work. He's going to help out a young bounty hunter, right, from the descriptions. And he's also going to join up with a bunch of people for a mission. So it'll be interesting. I think the guild will almost forgive him, maybe, because this is kind of what happens. They're bounty hunting. It's complicated, right? So that'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, I think I agree with all that. I will say that I think I think the premise of this show going forward is two, and you're not going to like to hear this. No. One, I like that this is becoming a parenting show.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I do.
It's not. It's really not.
Yeah, really,
maybe. No, maybe. It's not. There are parenting moments, and that pulls at your heartstring, but that's not what's happening. Because I can tell you, after episode 4, and he drops the kid off at the village, I don't think we're going to see the nice Mandalorian.
I don't think he drops the kid off at the village.
I think he does.
Because here's the thing. Baby Yoda is just as big as the Mandalorian, agree?
Yeah.
As a character.
Yeah.
So why would you remove that character? The minute you do that, I think you're changing you're really kind of you're resetting at that point, and I don't think they're going to do that 3-4 episodes into the show.
I think they will. They got to get rid of the kid. You got to get rid of the kid.
So here's why I don't think they would get rid of the kid. He's not safe.
Why?
Everybody's got a fob for this thing, right? Everybody's got a fob. Remember, why would he leave the kid? I think if the Mandalorian is that protective of Baby Yoda, the safest thing is for him to be under his watch at all times. Now, maybe he doesn't. He has him and he keeps him on the ship, or he finds other ways every time they're doing something. But I think you've got all these people that want this bounty. You've got the Imperial forces that are after him for whatever reason we don't know yet. You've got a lot of people that are after this baby. He's already made the decision, and that's why he struggled with it for so long on that ship, that he was going to protect it. I don't think he's going to just go ahead and drop it off with somebody and say, "Here, you watch this thing now." I think he's bestowed it upon himself to be the caretaker and the protector at this point going forward, no matter what happens.
No, not happening.
All right.
It's not happening.
We'll
it's going to dump the kid off, and then we're going to move on. It's the way it's going to be.
All right. We'll see.
We shall. Who will be right, Mike or Albert?
Tune in next week to...
Yes. Yeah, of course, because I'll be here.
I think there's going to be a lot of people disappointed, too, if he just drops the baby off and we never see it again.
I don't think so. No, because it's going to be resolved in the sense that, like, okay, this makes sense. He dropped it off at the village. He helped out the village. The village is safe and out of the, whatever. And then I'll be fine. And I'll be fine with it. Or what I would love for them to do, it won't happen, but next episode he shows up in the village and he doesn't even have baby Yoda at all. And everyone's like, where the hell is he?
Right. No, and then they never tell you what happened, right?
Exactly. Because that would be if Mike Rondo was running things, that's what would happen and you would all be killing me.
Yep. You want to know? Tough. You're never going to find out.
Exactly. Mystery, man. I like the mystery.
And then the other foreshadowing moment was, I got to get me one of those, the jetpack thing.
Oh, of course, yes.
Yeah, we're going to see that happen.
He said exactly, and the best part when that first happened, and he says it after, like a second goes by, the salute and everything, and I'm like, oh, he's got to get one. I said it. He said he's got to get one of those, and then he says it. So that was perfect. I'm like, he's just saying what we all thought.
Oh yeah,
so that was cool. So at the end, like the season finale, he's going to get one or something.
Yeah, that would be a good. Yeah, I would agree. I was thinking the same thing. Like sometime I don't want him to get it yet, but definitely season finale. I think that's a really good way for him to get a final reward, or I don't know, whatever. And then season 2, we can start seeing all the hilarity that ensues with him trying to fly that thing. Because I mean, where do you, if they're so rare and he's never had one, there's got to be a moment. I know we've already had one montage of him trying to ride the.
You just want montages.
I do want montages.
No montages. It's
like very 80s.
Man.
Why not? Give me more montages.
Because they should just die in the 80s and leave them there.
Survivor?
Just leave it there. Just move on, Albert. Move on.
All right. Anyway. Well, that's going to do it for this episode.
Thank goodness.
No, that was fun.
Sorry you had to listen to me again this week, but
Yeah.
Oops.
Let's all right, so we'll
shout outs. We got some shout outs, right?
We do have some shout outs. Who do we got new on just Patreon?
We got what is it, T-Flu 44? Is it Flu or T-Flu? T-Flu. And then we got J Mac, of course. Welcome to the Patreon club, everybody.
Yes, thank you guys for your financial donations. It was very awesome. Appreciate it.
Greatly appreciate it. And we will be getting a CAD soon once we get our schedules all lined up again. So, and I'm not sure where we're going to go with that yet. But,
well, I got the okay today from my boss to go ahead and do a Cantina radio show.
From Grief? Grief
no.
gave you the,
that was you.
Oh, it was me. Oh,
yeah. So
well, there you go.
I'm going to do a Cantina radio. So, if those of you who don't know what that is, it's too long. We're out of time. I'm not going to explain it. But that will be on Patreon for you. So, if those of you who do know, maybe it's something you're looking forward to. So, you'll hear that soon.
Good. Look forward to it.
Discord, Darth Nebulous, Kailaru, OG Free, and Todd Blankenship. Who let this guy on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who allowed Todd to even join Discord? I thought we talked about he was not going to be on Discord.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's move along.
And then I have one quick special shout out to Mon Ami. It's Uni Kuna, I think. She lives in France. Yvonne de France. So she listens to the show, and just want to say hi because I didn't realize we had somebody that far out that was that big of a listener. So
must be my last name. Must be Dronman.
Right. Rondo.
Yeah. From the French side of things. If I knew
How do you
French,
say that
I would
in French?
Say Rondu. That's all.
Rondu.
Yeah, it's not that real big of a deal. I think anyway. But anyway. That's the case with that. So I wish I could speak French because I'd say something in French for her, but unfortunately, I don't know a lick of it.
Je peux parler français.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if I said that right. I took French.
You probably didn't.
4 years.
And that's the reason why I'm not even going to attempt because I don't want to insult anyone with I'm horrible at speaking English. Never mind.
Yeah, right. You've got to lose grasp on the English language. We can't throw another one at you.
Exactly. We don't want to make things more complicated than they need to be.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, on that, we'll end the show. We'll be back next week with more fun stuff. And who knows, maybe you'll get Mike Rondo back another show if you're lucky enough. So,
let's hope not.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
All right. Anything before we go?
Nah. See you next show.
Okay. We'll see you. Take care.
You're still listening? Wow. That's amazing. Well, I'm here to give you the disclaimer. Normally we do a big, long, drawn-out disclaimer thing saying what's what and who's what and all that other stuff, but I think you guys kind of know that Lucasfilm and Disney have no affiliation with us at all, and we have none with them. We talk about Star Wars, which is their property and all that other good, fun stuff, but I think you can tell which is our stuff and which is their stuff. If you can't, well, then send a lawyer to send an email to me, and I'll be glad to chat with them. Other than that, you know what's what, so that's your disclaimer.